Hi guys, I'm Ella Briggs. I'm the 2019 Kid Governor. I'm here with Senator Blumenthal, and we're going to be asking each other some questions, talking about what we do day to day, and just getting to know each other better. All right, so let's get started. So I just have a few questions for you. So,
Sure.
What is it like to be a United States Senator? Like, what does a typical day look like?
You know, one of the interesting and exciting parts about being a United States Senator is there is no sort of set routine. I come back to Connecticut every weekend, usually beginning Friday, like today, going through Monday morning, and then I fly from Bradley Airport down to Washington, D.C., and I'm all around the state listening to people. I think one of the most important things I do is to listen. But I go to countless events and fairs and meetings and speeches and parades. You and I were in the parade just last Sunday.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
For Gay Pride. Yeah, it was a wonderful parade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's the weekends, and then I go to Washington and I have committee hearings and meetings and what are called markups when we prepare legislation, and then I sometimes go to the floor to vote or to speak. This week we had speeches on the need for universal background checks to prevent gun violence. I was involved in introducing a bill to try to make America safer through a red flag statute or emergency risk protection order, safe storage, Ethan's Law. So I've really taken an active role on gun violence.
That's really cool. I totally agree with you with the whole gun violence thing.
Well,
I feel like
thank
that's an important topic.
It is important, and it involves not only the mass shootings that we see, but also accidental shootings, like Ethan's Song was killed in a friend's home playing with a gun that wasn't stored safely, and his parents, Michael and Kristen Song, have been such great advocates. And of course, suicides sometimes occur because mental health is related to gun violence.
So, like, what qualifications should you have to, like, be a senator?
There are really no set qualifications, and in fact my colleagues come from a lot of different walks of life. Obviously every state is represented with 2 senators, and they are different religions and races. We need more women in the United States Senate.
Yes, yeah.
We could use more scientists. We have quite a few lawyers. And I'm a lawyer, but the ages vary from 30 or 40 years old, not 30, but 35 or over, all the way to, you know, some are in their 80s. So it's a real span of experience and age and race, religion, which is important because that's America.
Yeah. Yeah, that is important. Like, people should know that when they have their senators, like, that one of them is sort of like them, you know?
Exactly. It's important for people to look at their elected leaders and see that some of them look like them, think like them,
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah. So are there any, are you happy being a senator, or do you ever see yourself in a higher office?
I am happy being a senator, although there are frustrating moments, because Washington, as you can see, has become very polarized politically.
Yeah.
It is harder to get things done. When I was Attorney General of the state, I would make a decision and something would happen. We would go to court or do an argument or decide to bring a case and sometimes settle a case. We had achievements, we could point to them, they were tangible. In this job, the process is much slower And I need, obviously, a majority, sometimes 60, of my colleagues to go along with me and to get it through committee and then to the Senate and then to the House, and then across the President's desk. So I've been very active on some areas, on the Armed Services Committee and the Veterans Affairs Committee and Judiciary Committee where I serve, and the Commerce Committee, particularly on protecting consumers, on helping veterans with more benefits and education and health care, as well as active duty military, their housing, and of course, more of those weapons platforms that make sure that our men and women in uniform, our warfighters, never have a fair fight. They always have superiority. And the process of reforming our criminal laws to make them fairer. Those are some of the areas where I've taken the lead, and of course, on the rule of law, trying to make sure that everyone in the country obeys the law, including the president. And so that is a very, sometimes slow and frustrating process, but I love the job.
Are there any current bills that are trying to get through Congress that are focused on LGBTQ youth safety?
Great question. Yes, measures like the Equality Act and the other measures that would provide equal treatment under our health laws, under our tax laws, so that the marriages, and of course I've been a strong supporter of marriage equality, are treated equally as other kinds of unions between opposite sex, different sex marriages, and generally more protection against hate crimes, which are still unfortunately rampant in this country, so we still have a long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what. So, just to add on to that question, do you support any of those bills, and what can people do to express their support for it?
I strongly support all of the reforms that aim for fairness and equality and recognition of constitutional rights of that community, LGBTQ, and the expansion of rights, because I think our nation is one that has to recognize those rights. And in fact, I ask the nominees to the federal bench when they come before the Judiciary Committee, I've asked them, do you think Brown versus Board of Education was correctly decided? Do you think Roe v. Wade was correctly decided? Do you think Obergefell was correctly decided? I ask about those decisions that have expanded or applied the right of privacy, the rights of equality, because I think they are so important. So it's not just the legislative process, but also applications of the laws that come out of the legislative process.
Yeah, so what can people do to help support those issues?
I think being in touch with legislators, including myself, because I don't claim to know it all, and educating us, especially maybe congressmen and senators from other states who may not share our views. For example, I've been in favor of permitting gay men and women in combat, equal treatment in our military, transgenders. The former Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, supported that view. The president has reversed it, as you may know. But getting in touch with all of the people who represent us at every level, I think is important.
Yeah. I just have two more. What have you done as a senator that you are most proud of?
That's a very, very good question. A hard question. But if I were to say what I'm most proud of doing, I think it is helping individual people who need, as veterans, disability benefits they've been denied, or as ordinary citizens, health care insurance that has refused to cover their surgery or some other illness, or Social Security benefits. All of the ways I am able to help individual constituents. And that's been true as Attorney General as well. I brought big lawsuits against the tobacco companies and against Microsoft, and they became nationally known. And some of the legislation I've introduced, for example, the Clay Hunt Veteran Suicide Prevention Act, which was signed by the president in the East Room, and I stood next to him, President Obama, along with John McCain, because he did it with me, the late Senator John McCain. And that was a very stirring moment because it was about trying to stop veteran suicide. But helping individual veterans in some ways is even more gratifying for me because they may be down on their luck. Sometimes they suffer from post-traumatic stress. That's true of a lot of people in our society. They need better health care, particularly mental health care. I think helping the hundreds, maybe even thousands of individual constituents who write my office, call, sometimes they'll stop me on the street, say, can you give me a hand with something or other? And just by making a call, I can make a difference in their lives, or writing a letter. And that's a very sort of gratifying experience.
Yeah.
And I get letters from people who say, you know, thank you for helping me, thank you for helping my mom or dad, my sister, and they can't pay me enough for those letters.
That's amazing. Wow.
And you'll find the same thing because I know you're going to be involved in public service too.
Yeah.
You know, Kid Governor is just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you'll be a US Senator or more.
Yeah. If there was someone you knew who thought they might want to go into politics someday, what advice would you give them?
First, become Kid Governor. That's a good start. I think any kind of getting involved, any sort of engagement, getting involved in environmental groups, in political activities, or reproductive rights, or anything that really motivates you, any kind of cause where you engage with people and try to organize and make yourself heard and make a difference. Because that's a way of learning the skills of speaking, organizing, advocating, and being motivated, because you need determination.
Yeah.
So that's a good beginning. And you'll find that there are always opportunities, because people are always looking for good people to work for them and represent them. And elective office is only one way of doing it. There are a lot of community organizations where you can make a difference too.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Oh, thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
My question to you is, how can I help you?
Well, how you could help me is just keep on supporting the bills that you are supporting. Keep being yourself, and be sure to spread love to everyone you meet.
Great. And can I come visit you again?
Of course, yeah, this is great.
Wonderful. You have a beautiful office here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope to someday see your office.
Well, not a bad thought.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. This has been a lot of fun. And yes, thank you, Senator, for being with us today. It's such a huge deal for me. This is really amazing. So, yeah.
Great job.
And thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and bye.